Hello everyone, this is Ricky, also known as SpaceCowboy17 on YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Top 3, where we look at the top 3 examples in a certain category and count them down. I'm a huge Cowboys fan who hates the Philadelphia Eagles, and one of my most gratifying things for me as a Cowboys fan is going to Lincoln Financial Field and watching my Cowboys ruin the dreams of all types of Eagles fans. This countdown will be my top 3 most gratifying Cowboys wins against their bitter rivals in the Eagles. I will always remember these wins because they were important wins by the team in respective seasons since I've been a fan. With that being said, before we begin, what are your top 3 Dallas Cowboys wins against the Philadelphia Eagles? Or what are your top 3 wins against the Philadelphia Eagles? Or finally, what is your favorite top 3 wins against a hated rival? Please tell us in the comment section below. So let's get into it. The Dallas Cowboys have won 5 Super Bowl championships, and that is the best in the NFC East division. The biggest issue was, for a long time, the Dallas Cowboys had the largest playoff win drought for any team not named the Lions, the Browns, the Bengals, and the lowly Texans. From 1997 all the way to 2008, the Dallas Cowboys were always known as the team that would be overhyped and would either fall apart during the regular season, or come playoff time, they would always go one and done. However, because of a certain Week 17 game in the 2008 season, which is a game we don't talk about, the Cowboys decided that they needed to get revenge against the Eagles, and revenge is exactly what they got. The following year in 2009, the Cowboys had effectively swept the regular season series by beating them in a Sunday Night Football matchup at Lincoln Financial Field 20-16. And then in a game for the division in Week 17, the Eagles were unable to score a single point at Cowboys Stadium. The Eagles and Cowboys were slated to play a wildcard game the following week back at Cowboys Stadium on NBC Sunday Night Football. The Eagles had the chance to make up for getting swept by the Cowboys and losing the division, but instead, the game started out with Donovan McNabb doing this. This is when we all knew the Eagles had no chance. The game would be pretty close at the beginning of the game, and the Eagles have a deep pass by Michael Vick to thank for this. However, the Cowboys were able to take advantage of key opportunities and would recover key Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, and Leonard Weaver fumbles, and would eventually beat the Eagles with a final score of 34-14 on the back of their strong defense and ball control and mistake-free offense. Most of all, for the first time in my lifetime, and the first time in 13 years, the Dallas Cowboys had won a playoff game. The game was short-lived because the Cowboys would drop their pants on the ground to Brett Favre and get embarrassed in Minnesota. But honestly, winning our first playoff game in a while against Philly was totally worth it. The second most gratifying win my Cowboys had against the Eagles was a game that took place in Week 15 of the 2014 NFL season. Both the Eagles and Cowboys were coming in at 9-4, and this game would surely decide who would win the NFC East that year. 2 weeks earlier, on Thanksgiving, the Eagles, led by this guy, embarrassed the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium with a final score of 33-10, and it seemed like they would win the division. Fast forward to the game in question, the Cowboys said they would onside kick the ball to the Eagles to begin the game, and it wasn't necessarily an onside kick as it was a high squib kick. Obviously, return men Josh Huff and Brad Smith didn't know that the ball is live on the kickoff until it is recovered. Well, the ball bounced at around the 15 of Philadelphia and an amazing backspin, and it was recovered by Cowboys special teamer CJ Spillman. Because of this, the Cowboys would score touchdowns on 3 consecutive drives and make burnt toast of Eagles cornerback Bradley Fletcher, as he would get owned by Dez Bryant. The scary part of this game was the fact the Eagles actually came back to make the score 24-21 Philadelphia in the third quarter thanks to running back Chris Polk. However, thanks to key Eagles turnovers and lighting up burnt toast by Dez Bryant, the Cowboys were able to take a 35-24 lead and never look back by winning the game 38-27, effectively winning the division. This was the first game I had gone to since 2012, and I was not disappointed. Again, Tony Romo had played the perfect game with almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was kind of annoying that NBC would spotlight Chris Christie sitting next to Jerry Jones in the booth, because I think he's a disgrace to all Cowboys fans everywhere, and he's merely a kiss up to Jerry Jones. The Cowboys would win their last 2 remaining games against the Colts and Redskins and would win the division with a 12-4 record, while the Eagles would split the last 2 games against the Redskins and Giants. The Eagles also wouldn't go to the playoffs, and the Cowboys did. The Cowboys came back to continue the legendary Lions playoff win drought and a wild card win, and then would go on to lose in the divisional playoff round to the Packers. And yes, Dez Bryant caught this pass, and I will fall on that sword. And now, to the final gratifying win that my Cowboys had over the Eagles happened in Week 14 of the 2018 NFL season. The Cowboys were coming in with a 7-5 record, and the Eagles had a 6-6 record. While we all would like to say that the Cowboys played a perfect game, but they didn't. At times, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott looked poor with 2 interceptions and 1 fumble lost. And this was the game that the former trade acquisition from Oakland, Amari Cooper, would go out and show why the Cowboys traded for him. By catching for over 200 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, the Cowboys had effectively stopped the Eagles for a whole half as they generated 0 points. However, in the second half, the Eagles would equalize the score going into overtime. The Cowboys would get the ball, and they would never give it up, as Dak would lead a methodical drive down the field all the way to the Eagles' 15-yard line. The down was 3rd and 7, and Dak would throw a highly contested ball to Amari Cooper. The pass would be tipped by Rasul Douglas, who was having a great game, and the ball would land in the hands of Amari Cooper, and he would run it into the end zone, and the Cowboys had won 29-23 in the second straight overtime win by the Cowboys. Not only this, but the Cowboys had swept the season series, and the Cowboys would take this win all the way to winning the division in a Week 16 game at home against Tampa, and Dak would even win his first playoff game. Take that, Wentz! However, the Cowboys would eventually lose to the eventual NFC champion LA Rams in the divisional round. The Eagles would also go to the playoffs with a 9-7 record and would beat the Bears on the luckiest play ever. Oh well, they also lost to the Saints, who we beat, so that's another one up. While the game was great, sweeping the Eagles in overtime of a great game is always gratifying. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Top 3. Again, if you have a gratifying win against the Eagles or a division rival, please tell us about it in the comment section below. Also, if you have another category you would like us to talk about, please tell us about it as well. Thank you and have a great day.